Hi, everyone. My name is Heloisa Menezes. I'm an expert in innovation policy, and strategy. I'm also an entrepreneur in the industry of educational robotics. It's a pleasure to be here in this incredible event. Now 100% digital. I've been in campus party events, presential events, and they are amazing. It's time to join effort to rethink the future, a future more connected in a low contact new world. It's time to collaborate globally in the search for solutions for common problems. I'd like to congratulate Francesco Farrugia for the event and thank Claudio Nascimento for the invitation to organize this panel. I'd like to thank the presence of my guests, Mr. Moon, Director of the Korean Innovation Center, and Luis Felipe Monteiro, Secretary of Digital Government of the Brazilian Ministry of Economy. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you. It's an honor to have you both today. We are going to talk about the importance of digitizing the economy, people, companies, and governments. We are going to talk about the need for the whole ecosystem to be prepared and to contribute to the evolution of creative economy and the digital economy. Using the case of Brazil and Korea, South Korea, we'll discuss about the messages that the COVID crisis left us and about the requirements of this new world. This subject is quite opportune. The global and systemic crisis aggravated by COVID-19 made the abyss and divisions of our system clearer from the ecological, spiritual, and social point of view, which are symptoms of a system in check. The crisis opened up the difference among people, businesses, and countries. The divides have become clear, and we need to be aware of them. In my view, we will not reduce the social and economic distances in an increasingly digital world without facing the digital gap. The power of the big five, the growth of the Chinese giants are signs that more concentration may occur in parallel with the growth of the emerging economies that is being observed, especially in China and India cases. The new globalization is digital. The pace and capacity for competitive insertion in the digital economy are different between countries. China and the US lead the new Cold War, the new digital, the new war that is digital. It's about data and the capacity to network. Studies show that developing countries, such as Brazil, will underperform developed countries in the digital economy. COVID crisis showed us that from now on, it's not a matter of choice being more digital, living in a digital world or a digital lifestyle. It's a question of survival and differentiation. But there is no consensus about the benefits of the digital economy at all, as showed by a recent survey that shows that 45% of people believe that the positive impact of the evolving digital economy outweighed the negative impact. 43% of respondents believed that technology has made society more unequal, and finally 55% felt that not enough is being made to ensure technology benefits, that technology benefits everyone. Brazil specifically ranks among the largest users of smartphones and social media in the world. But the question is, what are our perspectives as regional leader, and even as users of digital tools for economic purpose. I will make some considerations about the research I did at Cornell University when I was a visiting scholar. I was building a framework for a better understanding of the drivers and the challenges of digital economy in countries like Brazil. My purpose was to describe the initiatives to minimize the barriers for our progress in the digital economy. According to a Huawei and Oxford economics study, the digital economy grew in the world 2.5 times more than the traditional economy. The future is digital, and Brazil cannot lose the space. But of course, technology isn't everything. People and businesses in developing countries cannot be left behind. In Brazil, we need a human-centered framework to study the digital economy. The advancement of the digital economy in Brazil will depend on how inclusive and sustainable it can be. The drivers I've chosen in my research are trust. We need trust in the operations, in data privacy, transparency, and we need to have participation practice to guarantee trust in the digital. The second driver is business sustainability. We need also viable and responsible business models and practices. Digital business need to benefit the entire ecosystem, including more and more people, businesses, and governments. The third driver is environment. And my colleagues in this panel will made it clear it's urgent and enable political and regulatory environment as well as a business and innovation environment that support new businesses and all the ecosystem. For example, stimulus for innovating with the ecosystem should include the building of national and local multi-stakeholder platforms to encourage, identify, and scale bottom-up innovation. And governments could also has the role to launch those kinds of platforms as well as companies. And finally, the last driver I chose my framework was access and adoption. That includes indexes such as readiness, affordability, skills, and infrastructure. For example, affordability measures the price, the cost of internet access relative to income. Includes also competitive environment, the concentration of the marketplace for internet services provision. The main indicators for readiness is literacy, that measures the level of education and preparedness to use the internet. It's very important, especially in countries like Brazil, where the levels of education are no solved problem. And this kind of indexes includes skills, soft and technical skills, and should include citizens, workers, as well as executives and public servants that aren't prepared for the digital transformation. Efforts need to be addressed in improve our skills in all these levels. I know that in the Brazilian government, the school government is very focused on this at the moment, and up. Finally, countries need the affordable infrastructure. People need to have a network coverage, including the minimum percentage of population covered by at least the 3G, 4G mobile. We are late in the 5G mobile network, and we need to address this question urgently. The affordable digital infrastructure includes also government initiatives to make Wi-Fi available for all, and also private sector initiatives to make Wi-Fi available. It's a question that involves all the stakeholders. It's a multi-stakeholders problem because the challenge is so big. The other important index refer to usage, not only by citizens, but also by businesses and governments, and includes, for example, the size of the connected people in terms of internet and mobile. When we talk about usage governments, it means how governments use and invest in ICT for the benefit of the general population with eGov initiatives, and we will explore these kind of questions, this kind of initiatives with my colleagues. They will talk about this later. In my final words, put Brazil in the context of international rankings. In my studies, I used, among others, OECD, World Economic Forum, and Microsoft Studies and their rankings. One of them is the Inclusive Internet Index 2020, in which Brazil is the 34th globally ranked among 100 countries. Although it boasts relatively competitive mobile and broadband markets, it means availability, mobile and fixed broadband prices are expensive as a share of per capita monthly income, putting us in Brazil in a bad position in affordability. The country's weakest points are found in readiness and particularly in the level of digital literacy and web accessibility. We could see in the crisis how difficult among students, workers, and entrepreneurs was the access of internet, and not only by access to internet, but also to mobile devices. Lots of schools and universities had to stop the classes because of this gap. And so in the digital and low contact economy, our new reality, our new normal, it's imperative a sustainable process of enabling organizations, people to lead and carry out business transactions in digital age. The same occur with the public services. So in order to not left anyone behind, we need access and adoption of digital tools and technologies for all. That's my message. And we will listen to my guests. I will begin by Mr. Moon. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation. Mr. Moon will introduce us to the Korean New Deal and to the South Korea's digitalization initiatives. I was very excited, Mr. Moon, when I read a very short article about the Korean New Deal, beginning of the pandemic in Brazil. In this article, they talk about how Korean government assisted the most vulnerable population affected by COVID, but used this moment, used the assistance as an opportunity to generate and share data. Due to its geographical positioning in Asia, South Korea was one of the first countries to be affected by COVID.
Right.
And it was recognized worldwide for having adopted successful strategies to protect the population and fastly reactivated the economy. And so it's a pleasure to hear about these initiatives and have you with us.
Yes, thank you for having me, Heloisa, and Dan for the great introduction. And hi, everyone. My name is Jung Moon, and I'm Director General at Korea Innovation Center in Washington, D.C. And I'd like to start my presentation with a great appreciation to great work and great job for the Campus Party team. And now I think I should try share my screens. Okay, can you see all well?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to go, I'm gonna make it, just my presentation as short as possible, okay? Okay, so quite recently, the Korean government kind of sent a public message by using the drone. So they just called it drone flash mob. I think I want to kind of briefly introduction to that. I think this is a kind of government's message to the public people, and all the Korean people are kind of aware of the COVID-19 situation, and they wear mask and then keep the social distance. At the same time, share the appreciation of all the medical staff, and then those people who put their life in the line, kind of fight against COVID-19 pandemic situation in Korea. So I think even though Korea is a flattening curve, but I think sending all my appreciation to the Brazilian medical staff and who are put their life in the line at the same time. So Brazil, you are not alone. Korea is always backing up for you, right? Oh, sorry. 여기서 하는 거 아니고? 아니, 그쪽 거기도. 할게요. 아니, 그러니까 여기 있는 지금 화면이. So I think there's a little technical glitch, But like I ended.
아니 그게 그리고 여기 안 나와요. 그러면 이거를 스크린을 쳤어요.
Yes, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. A little bit of technical glitch here. So I'd like to talk about a brief introduction of KIC and how the Korean government respond to the COVID-19. And then where the Heloisa point out, the Korea introduced new deals. I think this Korea's new deals consists of two parts. One is a digital new deals. Another is a green new deals. So more, one is more like a technology side of it, and then the green deal is more toward to the, just environmental and clean energy and then clean infrastructure sort of things. And then finally, I'll just wrap it up with our suggestions, okay?
Okay.
All right. So brief introduction to KIC, Washington, D.C. We have four offices in the worldwide. One in Berlin, Germany, and Beijing in China, and two offices in the United States, one in Silicon Valley, and we are the KIC DC located in the Washington, DC area. So we have a basic kind of mission and vision, but typically our responsibility is helping providing a accelerating and incubating program. This program is heavily backed by the Korean government, Ministry of Science and Information Communication Technology. And what we're trying to accomplish is we try to build up global innovation ecosystem and lay out for the technology commercialization platform. So far we helped 500 Korean startups, companies bring in the United States, and then maybe quite some a number of Korean companies made a success in their business operation. So this is our mission, vision, and our slogan is we innovate, incubate, and integrate. So I'd like to share quite recent successful cases of Korean tech companies. We support the Korean testing kit companies named OneDrop. They submitted their application for FDA EUA, and then last March they acquired and then approved their FDA EUA. And then two other Korean testing kit companies in reviewing process right now. And one is M-Monitor, and another is Pakgen Bio. Those two pending companies are also manufacturing test kit in Korea. So now I'd like to kind of talk about how Korea respond to the COVID-19. And most of all of you noticed or show the news articles, and then Korea has the COVID-19 impact in Korea because very early of this year, because we are geographically close to the China. So in the meantime, the first week of March, we saw the peak of this COVID-19 situation, and since then, the government people work together and then try to mitigate and stabilize the situation. Now, starting mid of April, the Korea was able to flatten curve at the moment. So remember, Korea never shut down their economy at all during the COVID-19 situation. So, but behind this, I think there's three most important elements. One is government openness, okay? So government adopted open data about the domestic coronavirus cases, and then government transparency. They are always making a debriefing for the regarding the COVID-19 situation. So the people know what has happened, what to prevent, and then what kind of action they should take. So at the same time, lastly, the democracy is also important. So this is more like, just individuals and companies or agencies willingly participate in, kind of open up the using or allow the government using access to their individual data as well. And now a little bit talking about the education initiative. Last 5 years, Korea allocated a tremendous size of government budget, but each year they have a slightly different focus area. Just covering 2019 only, they are investing in fourth industrial revolution technology and innovation. So they're making a lot of investment onto talent education and training program. Also, they are facilitating more onto the industry, between industry and academy partnerships, so that they can work together, on the new technology development and R&D as well. For this year, they have two different major goals, which are supporting the university innovation program. So encouraging more students or more scientists, more engineers, kind of thinking of starting their own startups. And then also the heavily invested into the Brain Korea 21 Plus. This is more futuristic technology, investing in the futuristic technology investment, and as well as training more high-skilled, peoples. And so what has been changing COVID-19 in Korea? So I have witnessed seeing this kind of new trend, the rising of age of untech, just mostly business meetings and also any kind of, event transition into the online basis. And also services are more provided by the online or app services. So incorporating entire, or enhance the system or preparing for COVID-19, post-COVID-19, the Korean government introduced new Korean New Deal projects. So I'd like to kind of elaborate a little deeper about this new project, okay? So Korea economic policy for second half of this year consists of three parts of to overcome the COVID-19 crisis, and three parts of prepare for the post-COVID-19 crisis. So to overcome the COVID-19 crisis, there is a three major elements they just set up. The helping the economy ride out the crisis and stimulate recovery and strengthen risk management. And for the preparing for post-COVID-19 crisis, they are focused on the development of future growth, pursue restructuring, and strengthen social safety net. Those are the six main elements for the overcome and prepare for COVID-19 crisis. So there is a three major part of the Korean New Deals. One is digital New Deals, and the second one is Green New Deals, and lastly, the job security. So I like to kind of highlight and focus these three areas for this presentation. So talking about digital New Deals, Korean government allocated 13.4 trillion won, which is equivalent $11.2 billion. And into the digital New Deals by 2022. So mostly with this money, what they're trying to do is they will try the data network and AI ecosystem reinforcement and digital inclusive security network in the establishment and foster untech industry and SOC digitization as well. So taking it into a little deeper about these four different areas, the growth, I'd like to talk about the growth a little bit. Like Heloisa mentioned about the mobile technology, mobile network is kind of spearhead of the future economic development in the society. So Korea is seeing enhance the 5G network to public administrations. At the same time, 5G network and then AI industrial convergence, they're heavily pushing forward to that. And then at the same time, they are focused on the talent, and then the labor force is very important. So they are investing into the particular area and training 100,000 talents in AI and software field. Second part is digital security inclusive. So inclusive meaning is high-speed internet in 1,300 remote area, and then replacing additional Wi-Fi in 41,000 places. So, and then digital security meaning is allowing small and mid-sized enterprise, about 25,000 small and mid-sized companies access to the government consultation services, and they utilize the free security testing for the network. Thirdly, there is an educational element. The school, in school community, for the school community, governments are willing to replace like 200,000 old laptop computers. Also, they are enhancing and promoting more toward to the online education program and systems. So replacing old servers and network devices. And also, like you say, you know, just a kind of futuristic trend is on tech. So not having the face-to-face meeting or face-to-face kind of event. So remote working is also, they're heavily invested into the system on remote working. And then lastly, they are trying to digitization on the SOC. So they're heavily focused on the smart infrastructure and then water management and disease warning systems after COVID-19 situation. Also, at the same time, you see there are a lot of logistic problems during the COVID-19 pandemic situation. So they are trying to making their logistics systems smarter. So that's the major 4 areas Korean government, and you know, just making a heavy investment on digitization initiative. And then now I'd like to kind of lead you to the Green New Deals, which is the more focus on the environmental and infrastructure, and then the much more, you know, just a cleaner, greener, ecosystem-friendly way. So they allocated $12.9 trillion, equivalent $10.8 billion. And then this one is invested by 2022 as well. Focus more on the transition, green transition of city, lifestyle infrastructures, establishing an innovative ecosystem and green industry, and expanding low carbon and distributed energy resources. That's the area they are focusing. I think my time's up, but I'll just kind of go quickly. Meaning is that, so the Korean New Deal is focused on eco-friendly and smart infrastructure. There are kind of 3 major areas, but just skip to that. And then also they are trying to kind of eco-friendly and greener manufacturing system. And they are also heavily promote clean energy industry as well. So this is not only they are focused on the digital and technology area, but at the same time, they are making Korean society and economy much more eco-friendly one. And then job security as well. They just poured about $4.5 billion by 2022. This is much more, you know, just focus on the employment support and unemployment, increase unemployment insurances, and the job training and job training for workers for higher tech areas. And then expand and then provide more internship opportunities for young adults so that they can just start working, and then retaining middle-aged and open up, enhancing more in the startup program so that the middle-aged people will start their own startups. So this is all the 3 major areas of job creation and job security. But like I already mentioned about it, I skipped to it. So here's our suggestion, you know, to our colleague and friend to the Brazilian people. So to kind of respond to the COVID-19 is not government alone work. It has to be combining or inviting the people, citizens, and then companies working together with the government. Of course, government lead the initiative and then easy on the regulations, but without citizens' participation, without tech companies' participation, Korea was unable to flatten curve. Okay, so that is the most important part. So it's more like the initiative by the government, but all the different communities and then companies will be we should be participating too. So when data is accessible, it facilitates open innovation, and government could act on two different ways. First, offer benefit those who open their data, because the data security and the privacy is also somewhat matter in Korea. But fortunately, all the Korean people allow the government to access their personal data on exceptionally on the national emergency situation. So that's the where the Korean government built the app to tracing the patients and where there's kind of movement and routine, so that they can just make an alert, a notification alert to the those residents nearby. So those are the companies working, but the individual company allow the government kind of access to the personal information and data. So that's the first one. And the second one is give a disadvantage of the someone who's not collaborate or participating during the national emergency situation. So this, their situation, in Korea during the COVID-19, while they are kind of submersive the situation, there is a couple of youngsters enjoying their nightlife, and then they just try to hide their identity and then their whereabouts, and the Korean government, and then getting assistance from telco companies, they were able to tracing them. But the individual who are hide their informations whereabouts the situations, and then the government willing to or trying to impose high penalties for that. So those kind of combination of volunteer and volunteer, or mandatory or penalty regulation, you should kind of combining those two to kind of overcome the flattening COVID-19 situation. All right. That's about it. I'm sorry, a little bit kind of past the my allowed time, but if you have any questions, I take a couple.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moon. Thank you so much for the great insights from South Korea, these initiatives, and thanks for the suggestions for Brazil. And for the great insights. These initiatives are important to maximize the data utilization that will become the foundation of the new economy, data availability and analytics.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Next, we will have the speech of the Secretary of Digital Economy of Brazil, the Secretary Luiz Felipe Monteiro, who is doing a great job. Congratulations, Luiz Felipe. And Luiz Felipe will tell about the objectives and initiatives of the digital government strategy that can contribute to the highest level of digitalization of the government, as well as the Brazilian ecosystem. It foresees the digitalization of services, but also to be an instrument to create a more innovative environment in the country. Thank you, Luiz Felipe, for having spend your time with us in this moment so important in Brazil. Thank you for having your time, sharing your initiatives.
Thank you, Heloisa. Just thank you, and I would like to welcome Mr. Moon, and also say thank you for the participation to all the people that are watching this live event here right now. I used to participate on the physical campus party, and I'm quite sure we'll get back to that as soon as possible. I hope so. And we are all with change the situation and make it the situation that we are living right now and make it more feasible, more better to all the people. I wanted to share with you just want to check if you're seeing my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a big internet collected population in Brazil. We are the 4th largest in the world. On the other hand, we are only the 44th country on digital government provision, which means we have 40 positions to speed up. Our gap is around 40 positions compared to the 193 countries all over the world. Brazil it has many differences among many of the top 5 countries on digital government and digital societies, but I see that if in one side we did not prioritize the digitalization in the past 15 years. On the other hand, right now, when we have the political will to accelerate the digitalization of governments and society, we are in a much better situation that these countries were 15, 20 years ago. Right now, 99% of Brazilian people have a smartphone. We have three of each 4 Brazilians connected to the internet, and we are high enthusiastic on internet consumption. What we aim with the Brazilian digital strategy that will run from 2020 to 2022 is to have a government that is 100% citizen-centered. I mean, with that is that we need to understand who is the Brazilian that is trying to contact or get some policies from the government. Right now, we have a user experience team working on the ground to understand what the profile of its citizen and to understand how the citizen interacts with government and creating new alternatives to make it more simple, to make it more clear on the digital channels. We also want to have, and we are working to have an integrated government. The citizen is it's only one people, and it sees the government, and he or she sees the government as only one government. No matter if we have municipalities, states, federal government, multiple powers, this is how we decided to build our society. But at the end of the day, the citizen has a problem, has an issue, and he wants the help or the support from the government to solve it. And the citizen doesn't need to understand who inside of this complex structure called government is responsible for that. So we want to have an integrated government where the data flows among agencies and not the citizen has to run over its needs from one agency to another. So the integrated government means that we want to have a single point of access. We want to have a single login and authentication platform. We want to have a single portal. and we are delivering a buzz for data interoperability among federal agencies, state agencies, and municipality agencies. Also, the government of the future must be smart. In smart, I mean we have to use data and evidence for every single decision we make on public policies. There's no time anymore for people, for expertise people guessing what to do with public money. So data has to give us options and to support all of our decisions. We are also working on the implementation of advanced digital technologies such as AI, such as blockchain and IoT within government. We have a few projects going on with very positive results on the smart principle of the strategy. As much as we move to digital channels, more exposed we are to the digital threats. So that's why a digital government must be also a highly reliable government. And with this, I mean that it's not only the cybersecurity of our systems and infrastructures must be well managed, but also the data, the personal data of our citizens must be secure, and the privacy of our citizens must be highly protected by the government. That's why we are not taking the same steps in South Korea to fight against COVID. We think, we know, and we have already the technology to trace people, but we decided not to use it. So we decided not to use it yet because we are not comfortable with the privacy issues right now. On the next principle of the strategy is a transparent and open government. Brazil ranks very well amongst the, we are the 12th country in the world in governmental transparency, but there is space to evolve on transparency, but there is also a very important space to evolve on the usage of public data to accelerate businesses. And in this period right now, where we want to make the economy, to energize the economy again, public data must be a great instrument for that. So we have an initiative called Government as a Platform that aims to use public data to accelerate and to create new businesses in Brazil. Also, we aim to have an efficient government where people is located, people is allocated on activities that are knowledge intensive and not operational intensive. That's why technology is creating a new public service environment. We have right now, during COVID, 50% of our employees at the federal level working from anywhere, from wherever they want to work, especially from home. But this technology has created many opportunities for us to reduce the size of the state, to increase the productivity of the civil servants, to increase the quality of the services provided to the citizen, and in the end of the day, to increase the trust in the whole system, the trust from citizen to government, and also the trust from government to citizens. So these are the 6 main pillars or principles of the digital government strategy. All this strategy is divided in 18 strategic objectives and in more than 50 initiatives with dates, responsible, and metrics to measure the performance. I invite all those who are watching us right now to check the digital government strategy at gov.br/governo digital. So inside this website, you will see not only all the details of the digital strategy, but also you will be able to check how are we moving through from month to month. Our main goal is to have 100% of the public services online by the end of 2022. We started the government in January 1st, 2019, with 41% of the services online. And right now we are moving to 58%, which means we already transformed from January 19 to the day, specifically the date we are today. We transformed more than 100 public services that were previously available only on physical channels. They are right now available on digital channels too.
Secretary,
hello.
Unfortunately, the organization announced that the time is over. I really encourage people who is attending this seminar to check, to look for information about the digital economy, digital government strategy, because you are doing a really great job. So I think that we have to have our final words.
It's my last words, and I apologize if I took more time than I was planned. But what I wanted to say is that within the federal government, we have a specific agency 100% dedicated to the digital transformation, and we are moving very fast. Two new digital services per day. So every day we have 2 new digital services online for its citizens. And the Brazilians are very excited on adopting the channels, as you can see in the Social Security case that I am showing right now. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and I'm open to questions or even to discussions after this panel.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to thank once more for this special conversation. Mr. Moon, your final words, please.
Yes, I think the COVID-19 situation in Korea has been maintained and flattened. Similarly, I hope Brazilian will maintain the situation. So like I said before, you're not alone. We are, South Korea is willing to help on any matter. So please, if kind of keep it up. All right, thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for all people who are watching us. Thank you. Bye.
All right, thank you. Bye.